A few years ago, I made 2 videos estimating how old Ninjago characters are. And to clarify, this is a part 3. Instead, Ninjago YouTuber 4 Quarters and I are joining forces to estimate how old every WildBrain Ninjago villain is. Hey guys, welcome back for a new collaboration video. We are checking out 7 villains in this video: Espira, Vex, the Ice Emperor, Unigami, the Skull Sorcerer, Chief Mabatist, and Prince Kalmar. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get started.
Starting off, we have the infamous Serpent Espira, and at a minimum, she's already 1,000, right? Because that's how long she claimed to be in that tomb prison. But then we have to add that to the age she was when she was a child in that flashback. And I think then she wasn't quite a teenager, but almost there. So let's assume that her child age then was 12. Add that to the imprisonment age, and that gives us a total of 1,012 years that she's lived. Give or take a few, since she's been stuck in the Ninjago City jail cell after that.
Our first step is going to be deciding how old Vex was when we see him in the flashback, and we don't think he looks too old here. Judging by his appearance, he doesn't seem to have any wrinkles, he doesn't seem worn out physically. We think he could be about 20. Now we have to add the 60 or so confirmed years that Zayn spent in the Netherrealm. This would make him at least 80 when we see him in Season 11. The reason why Vex looks the exact same in the flashback as he does at the end of the season is that it is confirmed that Forblings age differently. So while he may be 80 chronologically, it's likely that he probably is still around 20 biologically. And this brings us right to the Ice Emperor actually. He has to be at least 60 years old because Tommy and Drayson confirmed that as a rough estimate of how much time he spent in the Netherrealm. So the question is, how old was Zayn before Season 11? The indicator will be Dr. Julian's age in the Season 1 flashback. He starts off as very young, but by the end he's very weak and very old. We think at least 30 years could have passed between Zayn's creation and the first death of Dr. Julian. Then another 10 years between that event and Season 11. This means a total of about 40 years before Zayn becomes the Ice Emperor. Add that to the 60 and the modern day Zayn is about 100 years old, which is really insane to think about.
Next up, we have Prime Empire's Unigami, and even if you're not a huge fan of his personality, his looks definitely make up for that. But don't let that deceive you, because he might look like an old man at sometimes and a really young boy at sometimes, but he's actually 30 years old, since Prime Empire was created 30 years in the past before all the Season 12 events took place. And so since Unigami was quote-unquote born at the same time, that would make him 30 years old, and the facts are just kind of there in the flashback. After that, we have the Skull Sorcerer, aka King Vangelis, leader of Shintaro, all from Master of the Mountain. And it's actually a pretty funny case here, since King Vangelis looks like he's kind of in his mid 45 to 50, he's kind of balding, but he's still the super powerful Skull Sorcerer at the same time. And also, since Vanya is a teenager, that again supports that Vangelis is 45 to 50, which again is pretty funny to think about, since on one side he's this epic villain with an amazing soundtrack and he's really mean to everyone, and on the other side he's just kind of a dad in his midlife. So that's pretty funny to think about, but that definitely makes sense for his age.
Next up, we have Chief Mabatist, the false main antagonist of the island. We think, like the Skull Sorcerer, the Chief is probably middle-aged, around 45 or 50. I first want to point out that Chief Mabatist isn't immortal. Just because the keepers have been around forever doesn't mean each individual keeper lives forever. We don't know too much about this character, so we have very little to work with here. All we have is his voice and really his physical appearance. We also know that he is a leader, which could suggest he may be one of the more senior keepers, but really just all I'm going based off of here is his voice. I don't think he's super old, he just doesn't sound that way, but I also don't think he's too young either, so that's why 50 is a good balance. Our last one is going to be Kalmar, who we think is clearly pretty young. To start with, his voice definitely sounds pretty young, but more info can be found in the flashback episode. There's this one scene where Trimark congratulates him on his studies, which would imply that he's probably not super old. In that scene, Kalmar's design is actually the exact same as it is now, so this would suggest that not too much time has passed between then and Seabound. We think because Kalmar so recently finished his studies, this would make him 20 years old, making him the youngest WildBrain villain.
That's all for my part in this video. I really want to thank Daily for letting me be a part of this. You won't believe how much tricks he has to figure out these ages. There's so much behind the scenes stuff he taught me, and it was really fun to go ahead and make this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe to Daily's channel.
And huge thanks to 4 Quarters for being part of this collab. It was a lot of fun to make. And be sure to check out his channel as well and subscribe to it. He is one of the best Ninjago creators. Link will be in the description. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone and everyone you know. Share your thoughts on your estimations for these 7 characters' ages, and we'll see you guys next time.